Imagine trying to write a manifesto that will, fundamentally change the course of human history.
Right. A massive undertaking.
Exactly. But you aren't doing it on some quiet, sun-baked mountaintop or in a dusty, silent library.
No, definitely not.
You are doing it on a creaking, leaking wooden ship, just violently pitching back and forth in the middle of a storm.
Which is just a wild image to wrap your head around.
It really is. Welcome to the Deep Dive, everyone. I'm your host, and today we are transporting you to April 1845.
And I'm thrilled to be here to help break this down. It's such an intense setting.
It really is. So you are aboard this sailing vessel in the middle of the ocean, making a really treacherous voyage from Mecca back to the port of Bushehr.
The wind is absolutely howling.
Right, the wooden boards are groaning under this immense pressure, the waves are crashing against the hull, and right in the middle of this unpredictable, chaotic, terrifyingly physical environment,
Yeah.
a young man known as the Bab is penning a deeply revolutionary text.
And the threat of drowning isn't just like a metaphor he's playing with here.
No, not at all.
It is the literal reality happening right outside his window.
Which completely shatters the illusion we usually have about sacred texts, right? Like being born in a vacuum of perfect, motionless peace.
Exactly. The physical reality of that sea voyage, I mean, the salt, the wind, the nausea, the constant movement, it's woven directly into the very fabric of the words he is writing.
Wow, yeah.
It's a text in perpetual motion. And the environment demands a kind of immediate, visceral attention that a quiet room simply doesn't.
Okay, let's unpack this. The source material we are pulling from today is a translation and a deeply detailed study guide of this exact text,
Right, titled Volume 5, The Bab, Kitab-i-Ruh.
which translates to the Book of the Spirit. And our mission for today's deep dive is to look at how this text takes that inescapable reality of a sea voyage and uses it as a weapon.
Or maybe a tool, yeah.
Yeah, a tool to challenge the reader. We are talking about concepts that will force you to rethink what it means to experience a new creation.
And a concept of absolute justice that is, frankly, kind of terrifying in its precision.
It really is.
Yeah.
So we're going to trace the progression of a soul, starting from the safety of the shore, untying the ropes, and heading out into the vastness of a divine spiritual awakening.
I love that.
So let's leave the shore behind and see what the Spirit is trying to tell us out on the open water.
To even begin that journey, we have to look at what leaving the shore actually entails in the context of the Kitab-i-Ruh.
Right, because the mainland is solid ground. It's predictable.
Exactly. In the text, the mainland represents old, comfortable ways of thinking. Specifically, it represents inherited religious forms.
Okay, so the traditions people are just born into.
Yeah. The Bab is writing to an audience deeply entrenched in long-standing traditions. And he uses the imagery of untying the ship's ropes from a dock as this necessary first step.
Because you literally cannot sail while you are still tethered to the port.
Right, you have to let go.
And he doesn't pull any punches about who is still tied to the dock, does he?
No, he is very direct.
The text explicitly calls out two massive groups, the people of the Quran and the people of the Gospel.
Yes, it directly challenges them.
It basically asks, how can you cling so desperately to past revelations to the mainland, basically while completely denying the new living spirit that is unfolding right in front of you on this boat?
The critique he mounts against those traditions is highly specific and deeply theological.
How so?
Well, for Christians, whom he calls the people of the gospel, the text challenges what we might categorize as a Christological exaggeration.
Okay, that sounds intense. What does that mean exactly?
It asks them how they can worship that which their own hands have fashioned. The text reframes Jesus away from being the ultimate, final, or exhaustive source of the Spirit.
Or identical with God in an absolute sense.
Exactly. Yeah. Instead, it defines Jesus as a spirit proceeding from his command.
Proceeding from, okay.
Yeah, he is God's servant endowed with spirit, but he is part of a flow, not the termination point of divine guidance.
Hold on, though. I mean, put yourself in the shoes of someone hearing this back in 1845.
It would be shocking.
Right. He's essentially calling out everyone who came before him and telling them their understanding of their own religion is fundamentally flawed.
Yeah, that's what he's doing.
Isn't that just incredibly arrogant? To sit on a boat and write a text claiming you're the only one who gets it?
It definitely sounds that way at first.
Like, how is this not just standard religious gatekeeping, where a new leader says, no, ignore them, listen to me?
I mean, that is a completely natural reaction, but it misses the underlying mechanics of what the text is actually arguing.
Okay, guide me through it.
The Bab isn't saying the past revelations were wrong or fake. He is arguing against their ossification.
Ossification, like
Yeah.
them turning into bone, getting rigid.
Exactly. He's saying they took a flowing river and froze it, and now they are worshiping the ice instead of the water.
Oh, wow. I like that image.
The critique against the people of the gospel is about recognizing that the Spirit is something that precedes, moves, and continues.
Right.
By freezing it in the past, they fashioned an idol out of history.
Ah, okay. So the difference between admiring a photograph of a fire and actually using a fire to stay warm.
That is a brilliant way to put it.
Like, the photograph was accurate when it was taken, but it's not going to keep you from freezing to death right now.
That captures the essence of it beautifully. And, he applies a very similar logic to the Muslims, the people of the Quran.
Right, because he critiques them too.
He challenges them for denying the verses of God after they had previously believed in the criterion.
And the Quran itself was this massive, radical, disruptive force when it was first revealed, right?
Completely. It demanded that people abandon their inherited idolatry.
Okay.
So the Bab is essentially pointing out a profound historical irony here.
What's the irony?
He's saying, you recognized the truth of a disruptive revelation once, but now that you are the establishment, you have become the very people your own book warns against.
Man, so you are missing the living truth because you are too busy guarding the historical one.
Thanks.
It makes me think about how terrifying it is to leave the solid ground of what you've always known.
Oh, absolutely. It's terrifying.
Think about it like this, for you listening. Imagine you have a beautifully drawn, incredibly detailed map that you've relied on your whole life.
Right, a map of the land.
Yeah. It got you from point A to point B safely. Your parents used it. Your grandparents used it. It's a perfect map. But suddenly, the terrain fundamentally changes.
Yeah.
And you find yourself on the water. If you keep staring at the map of the land, you are going to crash into a reef.
Because the map is useless there.
Exactly. The map isn't bad. It was true for the land. But you're on the water now.
Right.
You don't need a map of the past. You need a living navigator who can read the winds and the stars in real time.
And that transition from a static map to a living navigator is the core engine of this entire text.
It's the whole point of leaving the shore.
Yes. The Kitab-i-Ruh argues that moving from inherited religious forms, which are written, historical, predictable, to a living, unfolding divine guidance requires a painful rupture.
You literally have to admit the map no longer works for the terrain you are in.
Which is so hard for people to do.
And this isn't just about 19th century theology.
Yeah.
This is entirely relevant to you, the listener, navigating your life right now.
Oh, for sure. We all rely on inherited forms.
Totally. It could be the way your industry has always done business, the cultural habits you grew up with.
Or even the philosophical assumptions you never bothered to question.
Right. Or even your own past successes.
Yeah.
We cling to what worked before.
We build our entire identities around those past successes and historical frameworks.
Yeah, we do.
So the text forces a very uncomfortable self-examination. It asks, are you so tethered to the dock of your own assumptions that you are missing the voyage entirely?
Are you denying a new reality because it doesn't fit into the categories you inherited?
Precisely.
Okay, so I buy that you have to leave the old map behind. You have to untie the ropes.
Right.
But if you're floating out in the void of this unpredictable ocean, how do you not just drown in nihilism?
That's the real danger, isn't it?
Yeah. If the old rules are gone, what is keeping these people afloat? Because once we are off the shore, the physical reality of the Bab's literal sea voyage becomes a sustained, almost breathing, symbolic vocabulary.
And the maritime setting provides the answer to that exact fear.
Okay, what's the answer?
The vessel itself becomes the focal point. The text introduces the imagery of the ark sailing upon the waters by God's leave.
Okay, the ark?
Yeah, and it repeatedly references the people of the ship. It specifically notes how God causes the ship to sail by his unseen hands.
So the ship is the new structure that holds you when the mainland is gone.
Exactly. It replaces the old map.
I mean, a ship at sea forces a decision in a way that land never does.
How do you mean?
When you're on land, you can straddle the fence. You can be half in and half out of a community or an idea.
Sure, you can hedge your bets.
Right. But a ship in the middle of a boiling sea is binary. You are either on board, trusting the hull to keep you alive, or you are in the water, lost in the waves.
Yeah, there is no middle ground when the fence is a wooden railing in the middle of the ocean.
Exactly. The physical constraints of the ship are just a perfect mirror for the soul's passage toward divine reality.
And the study guide we are using points out how this maritime symbolism taps into a massive, deep well of classical religious accounts.
Like, this isn't the first time a boat has meant salvation.
Not at all. The Bab's Ark deeply resonates with Noah's Ark, which is, the foundational story of a vehicle of salvation protecting a community from a flood of destruction.
Right. Noah's Ark is the ultimate symbol of surviving total chaos.
But it goes beyond just Noah, though.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the symbolism connects to the Christian memory of the church as the bark of Peter, navigating the storms of history.
Oh, I've heard that phrase.
And it also echoes the profound Shia tradition that views the al-Bayt, the household of the Prophet Muhammad, as the Ark of Salvation.
So the family of the prophet is literally compared to an ark.
Yes. In that tradition, if you board the Ark of the Prophet's family, you are saved. If you turn away, you drown. Wow.
What the Bab is doing is taking all of these massive historical arcs, Noah's, Peter's, the prophets, and concentrating them down into this single creaking, moving vessel that he is currently sitting on in 1845.
That is so powerful. The Ark isn't just a memory, it is the site of a new revelation happening in real time.
Exactly. It's happening right then and there.
But here is something that caught my eye in the sources. The text describes most of the people of the ship as heedless.
Yes, that's a key detail.
Like they are literally on the Ark. They are participating in the voyage. The waves are crashing against the same hull for them as for the Bab.
Right.
Yet they don't even realize the spiritual magnitude of what is happening right next to them. How is that possible? How can you be on the Ark of Salvation and not know it?
Well, it speaks to the difference between physical proximity and spiritual awareness.
Okay, unpack that a bit.
You can be caught up in the mechanics of a historical movement or just floating along in a community without ever actually engaging with the living guidings that is directing it.
So you're just along for the ride? Pretty much. This is where the concept of navigation becomes crucial in the text.
Okay.
Once you are on the open water, your survival depends entirely on early guidance. The text talks about God sending winds from the direction of the house to move the ship.
The wind. Yeah, if we look at the physics of sailing, especially on a 19th century dhow in the Persian Gulf,
Which is what he was on.
you can have the most beautifully constructed ship in the world, but without the wind, you are dead in the water. You are just floating wood.
Exactly. The wind is the unseen divine decree.
Right.
In maritime navigation, the wind is an invisible force. You cannot see the wind itself, but you can see its effects on the sails, the water, and the rigging. You feel it on your face.
So the text uses the wind as the symbol for the invisible force that guides the soul.
Yes, through the chaotic, unpredictable waters of early spiritual awakening. You cannot physically grab the divine decree, but you must align your soul, your sails to it if you want to move forward.
And if you are one of the heedless people on the ship,
Then your sails are down. The wind is blowing, but you aren't catching it.
man. So what actually happens when you do catch the wind?
That's when things really shift.
Because as the ship reaches the deep water, the text seems to change gears entirely. The physical journey becomes a deeply existential one.
It does.
The text claims the Spirit has descended with justice, and it lays down a rule that honestly stopped me in my tracks.
Oh, the rule about the letters.
Yes. It states that for every soul that hears even a single letter from these verses, it becomes incumbent upon them to believe in the new creation and what the Spirit casts into their heart.
It's a very heavy claim.
A single letter. I mean, this sounds almost like a magical incantation. How does hearing one single letter fundamentally change your existence?
To understand the weight of that, we really have to look closely at the phrase new creation.
Okay.
The text is not talking about learning a new fact. It is demanding an ontological shift.
Okay, let's pause and unpack ontological. Let's apply the explain it to me like I'm five rule here.
Sure, sure.
We aren't just talking about someone changing their mind or adopting a new philosophy. Right?
Not at all. Ontology is the philosophical study of being. It's the study of what things actually are.
Okay.
So an ontological shift isn't just changing what you know, it's a change in the actual state of your being. It alters the fundamental nature of who and what you are.
That is profound.
It is. And the study guide brings in some incredibly rich comparative concepts to help us grasp the sheer scale of this idea.
Like what?
Well, for example, it compares the Bab's new creation to the Apostle Paul's concept of the new creation in his epistles.
Right. Paul talks about the old self passing away and everything becoming new.
Yes. For Paul, encountering Christ isn't about adopting a new moral code.
Right, it's not just a set of rules.
No, it's about the inward person being fundamentally dismantled and remade. The old man dies, the new man is born.
Wow.
The guide also brings in Georg Wilhelm Friedrich Hegel, the 19th century German philosopher.
Oh, okay. Hegel's pretty heavy stuff.
Very heavy. Hegel has this massive concept of Geist, or spirit. For Hegel, the spirit isn't a static ghost sitting in the clouds.
What is it then?
It is the absolute reality that reveals and actualizes itself dynamically through the messy process of human history.
So it's active.
Extremely active. The spirit is always moving, always resolving contradictions, always pushing toward a higher consciousness. The Bab's revelation is framed as an active intervention of that unfolding spirit.
And the study guide brings up William James too, right? The philosopher and psychologist who wrote The Varieties of Religious Experience.
Yes, William James is crucial here for understanding the psychology of this single letter.
How so?
James studied how profound religious encounters actually operate on human consciousness. He looked deeply into conversion experiences.
Okay.
For James, a true religious experience doesn't just deposit new data into your brain.
Right, it's not just memorizing facts.
Exactly.
Right.
It permanently alters the cognitive framework through which you perceive all future data.
Oh, that makes so much sense.
The revelation in the Kitab-i-Ruh operates on this exact level. It doesn't just communicate a truth to the reader, it performs that truth on the reader.
So the act of hearing the word is the hammer that breaks the old consciousness and enacts the transformation.
That's a great way to visualize it.
Think about it like this for everyone listening. Imagine you have lived your entire life in a completely silent world.
Oh,
You don't even have the concept of sound. And suddenly, someone plays a complex, overwhelmingly beautiful symphony for you.
that would be mind-blowing.
Or imagine someone tells you a profound, reality-altering secret about your own family, something that recontextualizes your entire childhood.
Oh, sure.
Once you hear that music or once you learn that secret, your brain is permanently rewired. You can never unhear it.
No, you can't go back.
You can never go back to the state of innocent ignorance you were in 5 minutes ago. The mere act of hearing it forces you into a new state of being. You now have to adapt to a universe where that music or that secret exists.
And the burden of the single letter is exactly that kind of irreversible neurological and spiritual rewiring.
Permanent.
It is. The text is demanding that you realize true knowledge is not passive. You cannot just casually consume it, nod your head, and stay the same person.
Right.
To truly learn something of divine origin, to truly hear the Spirit, is to be recreated by it. It forces a progression from your earthly attachments, your old map, to a divine spiritual awakening.
You are called out of your old self, just as you were called off the shore.
Exactly. But this new creation comes with a massive, terrifying bill.
Yeah, you cannot be recreated without taking responsibility for it.
No, you can't.
And this is where the open water gets incredibly rough. The Bab intertwines the descent of the Spirit with justice.
Justice is central here.
And the text heavily emphasizes the day of resurrection and the day of return. It promises that God will judge with absolute equity.
And the language he uses to describe this justice is just staggering.
What does he say?
He states that not an atom's weight of injustice shall be done, nor even the weight of a date stone's film.
A date stone's film. Let's talk about how terrifyingly granular that is.
It's microscopic.
I mean, I can't even get my taxes right to the nearest $10, and you're telling me the universe is auditing my soul down to the translucent skin on the pit of a piece of fruit.
That is exactly what it's saying.
That is a 0% margin of error. How is that fair?
Well, it emphasizes the inescapable microscopic precision of divine justice. But we have to reframe what judgment means in this context.
Okay, reframe it how?
Judgment here is not framed as some arbitrary, angry wrath from a capricious deity sitting on a throne throwing lightning bolts.
So it's not punishment for the sake of punishment.
No, rather, it is the inescapable, objective unveiling of one's actual relationship to God's command.
Ah, it's like turning on a massive, high-powered spotlight in a dark room.
Yes.
The spotlight isn't angry at the dust in the air. It just reveals exactly where the dust is. It's an objective revelation of reality.
That is a perfect analogy. To really understand this, contrast it with how we usually think about justice in human terms.
Okay, like the legal system.
Right. Or look at human social contracts,
No.
like the theories proposed by philosophers like Thomas Hobbes or John Rawls.
Sure.
In Hobbes's Leviathan, the state of nature is brutal, so humans come together and negotiate a social contract. We give up some of our savage freedom to a sovereign so we don't kill each other.
We compromise.
Exactly. Or look at John Rawls and his Veil of Ignorance, where we try to design a fair society by pretending we don't know where we will end up in it.
Right.
In both cases, human justice is a negotiated compromise. It's a system we invent to manage our flaws.
We haggle over it, we write laws, we find loopholes, we amend the Constitution.
Wait, the text pushes that even further. A divine covenant, as presented in the Kitab-i-Ruh, is not a negotiated human agreement.
God does not haggle.
No. The divine covenant is an objective reality of the universe, much like gravity.
Oh, gravity.
Yeah, you don't negotiate with gravity. If you step off a cliff, gravity isn't punishing you out of malice.
You are simply suffering the natural consequence of misaligning yourself with the physical laws of the universe.
Exactly. The Bab is arguing that the moral and spiritual laws of the new creation operate with that same objective, unalterable precision.
Wow.
The soul must align with it, down to the atom's weight, or it suffers the natural consequences of misalignment.
The burden of awareness just skyrockets here. This is why the single letter is so dangerous.
It really is.
Once the Spirit provides you with that early guidance, once you feel the wind of the divine decree in your sails, your moral responsibility is locked in.
You can no longer claim ignorance.
Right. You heard the letter, you are on the ship, the spotlight is on.
Which serves as a massive challenge to a very common modern impulse.
Which is?
Well, today, many people seek what we might call consequence-free spirituality.
Oh, yeah. Like spirituality is an aesthetic.
Exactly. They want the aesthetic of the spiritual journey. They want the peace, the grounding, the good vibes, the meditation apps.
But without the rigorous, terrifying demands of moral accountability.
Right. They want to sit on the dock and watch the boats go by.
But the Kitab-i-Ruh argues forcefully that true spiritual awakening is utterly inseparable from an atom's weight of justice.
You cannot have one without the other.
You cannot have the beauty of the new creation without the profound granular responsibility that comes with it.
That's the core message.
So you've left the shore, you are out on the ark, you've been fundamentally recreated by the Spirit.
Yep.
And you've accepted this terrifyingly precise, objective justice. What happens next?
This is where things get really wild.
Yeah, because here is where the text takes a turn into the truly surreal. As the soul accepts all this, its very perception of reality seems to fracture and bloom.
It does.
The literal, salty, sloshing sea transforms into this hyper-vivid divine landscape.
The imagery in the latter parts of the text shifts dramatically. It moves from strict nautical terms into what we might call cosmic botany.
Cosmic botany.
Yeah, he introduces stunning, almost psychedelic imagery appearing right on the open water.
I mean, it reads like a hallucination. Is he just suffering from extreme seasickness?
It's easy to think that.
He starts describing crimson, yellow, white, and green leaves and trees growing out of the ocean.
Right.
He talks about a tree of Sinai that is kindled from its own fire, somehow existing and burning right on the water.
Yes.
He describes a lamp within white, yellow, and crimson glass, illuminating light upon light, but with no shadow.
It's incredibly vivid.
And he describes the dawn rising cold, which demands an intoxicating water that is touched by fire nearby. It's spiritual synesthesia.
That's a great term for it.
He's blending fire, water, botany, and glass all into one single image.
It is intensely surreal, but it is not a fever dream. It is a highly engineered cognitive tool.
Okay, how so?
By taking a desert symbol, the burning bush of Sinai, and forcing the reader to picture it blazing on an ocean wave, the Bab is deliberately breaking the reader's categorical thinking.
So it's on purpose to confuse us.
Not to confuse, but it's a psychological mechanism. He is forcing a system crash in your brain's normal way of categorizing the world so he can install a new operating system.
Oh, wow. That is brilliant.
Furthermore, he is consciously and masterfully reworking one of the most famous and profound passages in Islamic scripture.
The Quranic light verse, right?
Yes.
Let's dig into the light verse, because if you don't know it, this imagery just sounds like random poetry.
In Surah An-Nur, the light verse, God is described as the light of the heavens and the earth.
Okay.
The parable of his light is likened to a niche wherein is a lamp. The lamp is inside a glass, and the glass shines like a brilliant star.
Beautiful.
It is lit from a blessed tree, an olive that is neither of the east nor the west. The oil of this tree is so pure it would almost glow and give off light even if fire never touched it.
Light upon light.
Exactly. Light upon light. It is widely considered the ultimate, most beautiful metaphor for divine illumination and the purity of God's guidance in Islamic theology.
And the Bab takes that pristine, singular image of pure light and pure oil, and he shatters it through a prism.
Yes, he does.
He introduces crimson, yellow, white, and green glass.
Oh.
He superimposes it over the chaos of the ocean.
He takes the highest symbol of the old map and transfigures it for the new terrain.
That's fascinating.
The physical world of the sea voyage is being completely transmuted into spiritual instruction.
Right.
The study guide provides a vital key to interpreting this, actually. Every leaf of every color in this bizarre aquatic forest proclaims the exact same underlying unity.
Which is?
There is no God but Him. The multiplicity of the world, the different colors of the glass, the different leaves, the fire, the water, all transmit the exact same unified light.
Ah, so it's a visual representation of how the soul operates after it has undergone the ontological shift of the new creation.
Precise.
Having transitioned to divine reality, the soul no longer sees divisions. It sees the face of the divine reflected in every single direction, in every color, and in every condition.
The red glass and the green glass look different, but it's the exact same light bulb inside both.
That is the ultimate destination of the voyage, then. It represents the total fusion of all spiritual paths into this one singular moment on the boat.
It really does.
You have the burning bush of Moses, a desert image. You have the light verse of Muhammad. You have the Ark of Noah.
They all converge.
It's as if the soul has reached a state of critical mass where the boundaries of the physical world and the boundaries of historical religions just give way to the singular spiritual reality underneath.
Yes. The soul is no longer just surviving on a boat.
Right.
It is dwelling within the divine presence, where even the freezing cold dawn and the sloshing water speak the language of the spirit.
Wow. We have covered an immense amount of philosophical and theological ocean today.
We really have.
Let's trace our route back and see what we've survived. We started on the mainland, confronting the necessity of leaving the shore of inherited religious forms.
Which is the hardest step.
It is. We realize that holding on to the map of the past, no matter how historically significant, will sink you when the terrain shifts to the open water.
We looked at the Ark as the only vehicle of survival.
Right, relying on the unseen wind of the divine decree.
We then navigated the profound shock of the new creation, where we saw that true revelation isn't just learning a new fact.
It is a fundamental rewiring of your being. Hearing even a single letter of the Spirit demands a total ontological shift.
And we weighed the scales of justice, realizing that this new creation is bound to an absolute, unnegotiable moral responsibility.
Down to the microscopic film on a date stone.
Exactly.
And finally, we saw the world utterly transformed. The chaotic ocean bloomed into a surreal landscape of crimson leaves, burning trees, and shadowless lamps.
Proving that the transformed soul sees divine light in every direction, even in the darkest storms.
It is a profound, relentless journey, from the comfortable safety of denial to the absolute exposure and beauty of spiritual awakening.
It really is an incredible text.
And that brings me to a final thought I want to leave you with as you go about the rest of your day, navigating whatever waters you find yourself in.
Okay.
We almost always think of an ark as a place of safety from a storm.
Sure, like a shelter.
Right. Think of Noah again. The ark is the thing you get inside so you can hide from the chaos. You lock the door, you stay dry, and you wait for the world to stop drowning.
It is a protective shell against the elements.
Exactly. But based on what we've unpacked today in the Kitab-i-Ruh, what if the true spiritual ark doesn't protect you from the storm at all?
Oh, that's interesting.
What if, instead, it is designed to sail you directly into the fire of transformation?
Wow.
The text mentions that deeply paradoxical, intoxicating water that is touched by fire nearby. As you look at the inherited forms, the old maps, and the beliefs that govern your own life, ask yourself, are you using your beliefs just to stay safe, comfortable, and dry on the shore?
Or are you willing to let go?
Exactly. Are you willing to untie the ropes, brave the terrifying justice of the new creation, and drink the fire of the open sea?